Good day, everybody. Thank you for joining us on yet another episode of the podcast. Today, I have a phenomenal guest with me in the studio. I have Dr. Oluwaseun Ogunmola, and we're just going to be having a conversation around the power of AI for African agriculture. And so, I'll just read out his bio to us so we get to know him a bit better before we start out the conversation. Dr. Oluwaseun Ogunmola is a Nigerian tech leader, an AI evangelist, a product expert with over a decade of experience applying AI across agriculture, education, finance, and governance. He is the founder of Oluwaseun Ogunmola Consulting and AI in Africa, inclusive innovation on the continent. With a background in computer science and an executive MBA in view, Dr. Gumola bridges technical depths with business strategy. He is the author of Artificial Intelligence Basics, AI for Everyday African, and Break into Product Management, amongst other works that simplify AI for everybody and business use. Through his podcast, Tech with Dr. Seun Ogumola, and platforms like AI in Africa, he mentors, advises, influences policy around ethical AI and digital transformation. In 2025 Isekai AI conference, he was the lead speaker, keynote speaker. His work has been featured in the Guardian Nigeria and African business community. Dr. Gumola is committed to building content-aware, scalable AI solution that advances Africa's digital future. Dr. Gumola, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, good evening, Osarugue. Thank you very much for having me. That's a lot of bio for. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's always a privilege to get to share one or two things in how we build Africa with artificial intelligence and other technologies. So thank you for having me. I look forward to a very, very interesting conversation this evening. Thank you. It's
Fantastic,
nice being here.
fantastic. Thank you for being here with us. So, the very first question is for someone listening to us that doesn't even understand what the concept of artificial intelligence is. They've heard about
Very
it,
well.
AI, generative AI, predictive AI. What would you say exactly is AI? That's like the very first question. The question is sort of intermingled. What is AI, and how can we move beyond just the hype to see its practical application, specifically within the African agriculture? So start out with what it is,
Beautiful,
then
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. So I am a first principles guy. First principles is, taking things from the basics. I assume zero knowledge every time I get to talk to people. So let's talk about artificial intelligence. I know when you hear AI, what comes to your mind these days is ChatGPT, or maybe if you are in the era of Terminator, you think it's some humanoid robots moving up and down. So let's break it
yeah,
down. Artificial intelligence. What is intelligence? Intelligence is your ability to know something, ability to do stuff. Like we are humans, right? We have a brain, and that gives
hmm,
us intelligence, right? I didn't know you
true.
before. I saw you or I met you once. You told me your name. I learnt your name, and I somewhere
Yeah,
in my head, the picture, my eyes is like a camera. Sorry, let me show my eyes properly. So my eyes like a camera captures your image, and you told me, oh, my name is Osarugue. Beautiful. So I have a brain where I stored your image and say, oh, this image is Osarugue. Next time I see you, my eyes will capture you, and my brain will
yeah,
tell me, oh, we have this picture in our memory somewhere here. This is
yeah.
Osarugue. So that's like intelligence, right? We can call
Hmm.
ours native intelligence or natural intelligence. That's intelligence that came with your brain, or follow come
Mm,
intelligence that like we'll call it in Nigeria. So now, what is artificial intelligence? Every other way that you attempt to create intelligence that is not natural is artificial. Obviously, like if it's not natural, then it's artificial, right? So in
yeah.
any way that you attempt to simulate intelligence in a way that is not natural, what's the natural way? You have a brain, you have sense organs, you have your eyes, you have your ears, you have your nose, you have your skin to feel. So if I bring a lighter now and I bring it close to my skin, after some time I will start feeling hot, right? So next time
Yeah.
I know that if you bring fire close to my skin. It's hot. So I have learned, you understand, that's intelligence, right? And it's
Yeah.
natural. All I needed to use was my natural, my brain, my skin, my eyes, and all of that. So any attempt to simulate or create a semblance of intelligence that is not natural is artificial. So let me go a little digression into academia. I'm an academic person, so no matter whatever I say, I bring academia. The term artificial intelligence was coined by a man named John McCarthy in 1956. And before that time, there was a guy named Alan Turing. Sorry, I'm boring you with computer science grammar. Yeah, Alan Turing was the first person that came up with the questions of, can computers think? You understand? He just said, okay, can computers think? Yeah, we're doing computer. They are mostly mathematicians who are now venturing into computer science. They're like, can computers think? That was Alan Turing in 1950, right? He's actually considered the father of artificial intelligence, right? Because he was the first person that was recognized to have brought up the question of, can computers have intelligence, right? Matter of fact, whenever you are filling a form, and you see that captcha, you know that captcha thing, they will tell you to prove
Yeah.
that you are not a computer. You know the full meaning is an acronym. It means completely automated public Turing test. That's the captcha, to tell computers and humans apart. That's the captcha. So it was Alan Turing that brought about the first thought of, okay, can we, this intelligence that we have, can we simulate it in computers, right? Then in
Mm.
1956, John McCarthy coined the term artificial intelligence to mean all these are our attempts at trying to make computers simulate intelligence. What do we call it? Artificial intelligence. So that is artificial intelligence at its basics. So anyway, any attempt to simulate or make something intelligent that is not natural, it's artificial intelligence. So it can be digital level. Of course, the bulk of what we have today is digital level, artificial level, your chat GPT, your image generation, algorithms, and all of that. So those are digital level. But before then, there was a lot of research that has gone to bring us to where we are today. You guess, I believe that makes sense, right? I hope it wasn't too much
Yes, it
jargon
does.
for my end of the table. I mean,
No, no,
technical.
no, no.
All right, good. And two,
No.
you raised another question. I think the question was in two parts. Yeah, go ahead. Go
So
ahead, please.
I like how the analogies you used, that any intelligence that is not natural, that we are not probably gaining by observation or by interaction, then it has
Exactly.
to then be
Exactly.
fantastic, fantastic. So the other part of the question is, how can we sort of move just beyond the hype to see practical
Okay.
application for this artificial intelligence for Africans agriculture? You know.
Okay, beautiful. So that's a very fantastic question because beyond all the grammar, beyond all the like we say in Nigeria, show workings, right? I mean, beyond all the grammar, let's show workings.
Evidence.
So
Let's show evidence.
first of
Yes.
all, first, yeah, show evidence, yeah. So first of all, let's look at it from the perspective of, now we are looking from perspective of a farmer or an
Yeah.
agricultural person. You know, farmers might not necessarily. So from the perspective of a farmer, right? So let me use an
Yeah.
example now. I have a farm. I have about 1 hectare of farmland in Abeokuta in Ogun State here. I want to plant maize, right? Maize is like our national national plant. I'm sure if they should draw a new flag of Nigeria somewhere in the middle, they should place maize or agbado in the middle, right? So I want to plant maize on a 1 hectare of land, right? I might not necessarily, okay, I am coming from technology, so I don't know much about agriculture as it were. I need a lot of intelligence, a lot of information at that point. So I have options. Option one is look for professionals in this field, right? So there's somebody that knows about the soil, right? How to, I
Mhm.
mean, make the soil ready for planting. There's somebody that knows about the seeds, right? There's somebody that knows about the growth. There's somebody that knows about weeding, pesticides, and all of that. So by the time I am done, I would have had to go and look for 5, 6, 7 people for a farm I'm just starting up, right? You understand? Yes, I need their
Yeah.
knowledge, I need their skills, I need their intelligence, right? But the question is, can I afford them? That might be a no, depending on who you are asking the question. I was
Yeah.
giving the example of Bosun Tijani some time ago. So Bosun is the Minister of Information and Communication Technology. He has a farm somewhere in Ogun State too. He can afford to go to the Federal Ministry of Agric and say, "Give me tractors, give me this, give me that." And but in the case of a regular farmer, I'm trying to be a farmer, for instance. How do I bring in you understand? So now I know I cannot afford to bring in 7 people, 7 professionals who I can harness their intelligence into my farm. Can I use artificial intelligence? Right. So now we are, from our initial definition, we
Mm.
have said any attempt to simulate intelligence or use intelligence that is not natural is artificial. So instead of me going to look for
Yeah.
6 people who will come and give me knowledge and I will need to bring them down or something, I can harness the power of AI within my context and get things done. Okay, for instance, now
Yeah.
let's go to practical now. I have a farmland. Obviously, ChatGPT will not give me a farmland. So I need a farmland. I have a land to plant. We have not gone the era of digital plants yet. I have a farmland. I want to plant maize. So the first question might be, I have access to ChatGPT, for instance. I'm using ChatGPT because it's common. There are other AI models here and there. Matter of fact, ChatGPT falls under the umbrella of generative AI. You understand? Which are large language AI models that are that generate info. They learn on a lot of information. So all the information that ChatGPT is going to use to generate information for me, it has learned. So it has access to years of research in agriculture, years of research in pestology or pesticide studies and all of that. So I am sitting down on years of information, right? That I can now ask questions to my own context and it will generate new information for me. That's the concept of generative AI, right? I wouldn't want to bore you with a lot of AI jargon here, but basically, artificial intelligence. Let me just say this as it's an umbrella term, right? Artificial intelligence is the body of work that covers every attempt to simulate intelligence artificially. Are you with me? Then it has a lot of
Yeah.
branches. There's machine learning, there is deep learning, there's natural language processing. For instance, the reason why I can speak Yoruba to ChatGPT and it would understand and it will give me responses in Yoruba is because of natural language processing. Do you understand? So there's natural language
Is that a
processing.
possibility?
I didn't get that.
Is that a possibility? Like ChatGPT understands Yoruba?
Yes, very well. I can share my screen in the course of this conversation so that I will show you. So that is natural language
Oh,
processing.
wow.
So the ability of an artificially intelligent system to understand your own natural language. So it's not just it's 2 different layers now. I can speak. Okay, you don't understand Yoruba. But let me look for a complex Yoruba that I will speak to you. If I say Bawoni, you understand Bawoni. Bawoni is common.
How are you? Yeah.
Uh, uh, I'm looking for a very complex. But let me explain what I'm trying to say. If I say a complex Yoruba term now, can you hear it? Yes. Do you understand it? No. The fact that so I can send Yoruba to ChatGPT now. If there is no natural language processing, it would see what I have sent, but it cannot process, understand, and respond. So natural language processing is how it's able to understand the language first, understand the context, then now respond to me in that same you understand, with the same language. So that's natural language processing. We have computer vision, we have robotics, which is the common humanoid thing we see. You understand? Matter of fact, movies have made like Terminator and all of that. You see humanoid robot. That's why you see a lot of people when you mention artificial intelligence. What comes to mind is robotics, like robots and all of that. So summary of
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say, so that we don't, is that AI is an umbrella term for all the attempts that we make to simulate intelligence that is not natural. So it could be machine learning, aka I supply a lot of data to a software, an algorithm. It learns patterns in that data. And given that context, it can now predict stuff here and there. You understand? There is natural language processing, which I explained earlier, ability of a software or a system, a computer system, to understand natural human language, either spoken or written. You understand? Either spoken or written, and then be able to understand the context and be able to give me responses in that language. So there's a lot of generative AI is one of them, and a lot of them under that umbrella. Neural networks, deep learning, this learning, that learning. The overall idea or the goal is we are trying to simulate intelligence that is not natural. So that's an overview of that. So let me just summarize the question you asked. How do I use AI? So I am a farmer. I have a land, or I'm not a farmer yet. I am somebody that wants to go into farming. I'm interested in farming. I've acquired a plot of land. I don't have the resources to go and gather 7 agricultural experts to come and consult for me with their knowledge and intelligence on my farm. Can I use AI? Yes. Okay, Baba, I have 1 hectare of land. Can I share my screen so that we put some practicals? Podcasts are usually categorized by a lot of talk, and I don't like talk.
Okay.
I like,
Do you see the share your screen
yeah,
feature
sure, sure.
there?
Yeah, I'm quite familiar with the interface. You can see my screen now, right?
Yes, I can see. No, I can see your screen.
All right,
Yes.
so
Okay.
oh, okay,
Wait.
it's okay. Let me see. Okay, can you see it
Okay.
now?
So yeah.
So now I am on Chat GPT, right? So I can say GPT, Báwo ni is Yoruba, right? So it will be able to understand this because of natural language processing. You can see it gave me responses in Yoruba. Mo wa dada means I'm fine. Sheon, báwo ni, you understand? Ṣé gbogbo nǹkan ń lọ dáadáa sí? You understand? You get? So he understood the context of my language. And you are from
Yeah.
Benin. Let's try Benin. How do I say good morning in Benin?
Obowie.
OBO, right? W. Give me the spelling. I'm not a W what? I can't
WEN
seem to get
Obowie.
WEN like this, correct?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes. Let me see your
So
screen.
this
Yes.
this
Yes.
this is Benin language. Before I hit enter, what would the normal response be if I say this to a Benin? I lived in Benin for some time. So if I say epa is like Baba, like epa obowe, right?
Bye
What
bye.
would the response be? What would the response be like?
So the response is dependent on the I would say like the age grade of the person you're saluting.
Mm.
So if it's like an
Okay.
older person, if it's like an older person, their response would be more or less like asking you, "Oh, how are you?" Right? But
Oh,
if it's
okay.
like
So
a
what
person
what
like
would that response?
your
Go ahead.
it's long. It's like yeah, it's like how are you? But if it's like your peer,
So no, let's speak vernacular now.
so if it's
All
like
right.
your
So
peer,
mm,
your parent
mm.
would say the same thing back to you. Like it's like when you
Okay,
say good
beautiful.
morning to
So
someone, they tell you good morning back.
yeah, good morning. All right, so let's assume that GPT is an old man, right? Epa is Baba so if I say this now and I hit an enter, right? You see that you responded back in that your long. I believe it's correct, right?
Yeah, like we're like asking you like how are you?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what we just demonstrated now is natural language processing, right? So I spoke Yoruba, he understood the language enough to respond back to me in Yoruba language. I don't understand Edo language. This is Bini. Is this Bini, the Bini language, right? The normal Bini
Yes, that
language. I know you guys have a lot of beautiful. So I don't understand this, but I gave it to ChatGPT and he responded. So how it was able to do this is natural language processing, an aspect of artificial intelligence. So it's not just taking requests from me or prompts or chats from me. It also understands that, oh, this is a Benin language. I need to respond back in Benin language. You understand? So away from NLP now, I was trying to experiment. So, hey GPT, I have a 1 acre farmland, right? I want to plant maize, right? How many seeds of maize will I need on this land? Okay, you can see it has started layers of intelligence that I would have needed a lot of experts. So this is me trying to start out in maize farming. I only have a land. I don't know anything about maize, right? But it's telling me, okay,
Yeah.
standard maize spacing, row spacing, 75 cm. I don't know if you are a maize expert that you can validate that this
Correct.
is
It's
correct.
correct. Yeah.
It's correct,
Yes,
right?
it is.
Beautiful.
I've
So
looked it
planting
up.
space, 25 cm, calculation, 1 hectare, this and this, area per maize plant per this per that, and all of that. So you can see that, and this now, how many experts would this have costed me in terms of humans if I needed? First of all, they will come to my land, right? They will measure,
Mm-hmm.
they will do survey and all of that. So how many human experts would this have needed if I wanted this to be a human level thing? I don't want to use any technology, just humans.
In terms of like for consultation or for the actual
Yeah, yeah,
growing.
yeah, yeah. Consultation for starters, because this is just consultation too. We have not really done
So for
planting and all of
consultation,
that.
you
So,
might just see. So consultation, you went
mm,
straight out to just agronomic practices. Your first start out point, they would have told you like you needed to more or less invest in land preparation first. That's like your first
exactly, all
starter.
of that.
So that's
Mm,
where you
mm,
need a
mm,
lot of labor in terms of if you're not
mm,
using like tractors or bulldozers to like clear
mm.
out the space, depending on how the land
Very well,
is.
yeah.
But
Mm.
if you're just the same thing you ask GPT, it would have been just one agronomist that would have just told you, okay, this
Beautiful.
is what you need, this is the number of bags, this is the number of days per
Exactly.
year,
And
manual
yeah,
planting.
so my point is that the agronomist now would not be doing it for free, in quotes. You understand?
No, no, no,
You
no,
know,
no, no, no,
you
no.
get the logic. And for a farmer or a wannabe farmer that is just starting out, who has expended a lot of money on land already, I might not necessarily have the resources to hire an agronomist for starters. So that's one of the ways you can see. And
Yeah.
it will in the course of this conversation, we'll see a lot of other ways here and there. So that's one of the ways. So what I just experimented or demonstrated now is one, natural language processing, the ability of artificial intelligence systems to understand your normal context, which is a problem in agric extension, because it's not just, if you go to the deep roots of farming in Benue State, in Ondo State, in those states, most likely they are not speaking English. Yeah, maybe
No.
some will speak pidgin. You understand? But you will meet local farmers, rural farmers, like we
Yeah,
call them,
speaking the local
who cannot
language. Yeah.
understand. So now you can bring in a lot of artificial intelligence systems to not just provide them information, to also localize the information in a language that they can understand, courtesy of natural language processing. I believe that makes sense.
Yes,
Makes sense,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Beautiful. Mhm.
Fantastic. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I personally, like I say to every guest I have on, usually every session is like a learning experience for me. I didn't know that
Absolutely.
ChatGPT could understand local language. This is just I feel so good
Wow.
right now. Like, yo, I didn't know it could
Even
understand
even
local
beyond,
language.
yeah, even beyond
Wow.
ChatGPT, natural language processing is a complete total field in artificial intelligence, right? The reason why you
Wow.
can speak to a humanoid robot and it will carry out the task is because, first of all, it did not just hear what you said, it heard what you said, it understood what you said in your
That's
own
it. Yeah.
language, and is able to translate it in context and respond to you in your own language. So it's a very, I mean, the reason why we can chat with ChatGPT is because NLP has grown, and we call it NLP, natural language processing. It has grown. It
Yeah.
can take in English, and for all you know, yeah, English is our own official language. If it only understands English, that means it's not useful in countries that speak French. It's not useful in countries that speak Spanish. But somebody in Spain is most likely interacting with ChatGPT in Spanish language. Somebody in
Mm-hmm.
France is most likely interacting in French. So it understands languages, natural languages, to be able to process them in context and respond to you in context. I'm using the word context because it's one thing to understand a language in syntax. And then by the time you
Yeah.
respond, syntax is out the arrangement. By the time you
That phrase.
respond, the semantics might not make sense. So it takes a lot of
Yes.
work to not just understand what you have said, but to understand the context that you have said it and be able to respond back to you in that same context. You understand? There is a very classical example. I would have put it up here, but they were trying to translate the Bible, I think, into Russian. You understand, from English to Russian using Google Translate. Then there was a part where he mentioned spirits, right? You know, spirits in context, in that context of a religion or church, is like the spirit of God. You understand? But when the when it was translated to Russian, he brought alcohol, because spirits in
Oh,
another context, spirit in another context might mean, if I say give me, if I go to a bar and say give me spirit, he's not talking Holy Spirit at that point. He will not lay hands on me. If I go to a
yeah,
church and say give me spirit, the pastor is not going to bring out rum or cognac or something. You understand? So context is also very important. It's not just what you have said; it's about the context in which you have said it. So spirit in a bar means give me a bottle of rum. Spirit in the church means lay hands on me, let me be able to speak in tongues and all of that. You understand? So context is also very important. So that's that for that. All right, I'm with you.
fantastic, fantastic. So my very next question now is, what are some of like the basic tools or skills that a young African entrepreneur needs to start, integrating AI into their agricultural work?
This is very, very important because away from all the grammar, away from all the revolutionizing, and we are digitalizing, and we are banking the unbanked, and we are using AI
Oh,
to, everybody now is
after this,
building.
after this conversation, I have another special conversation about this banking the unbanked thing that we have to talk behind the
Not a
camera
product.
about.
I'm always ready to talk about these things because I am postulating a new era of work that I call purpose driven development. Right? It's not just enough to build stuff. It's not just enough to evolve things and revolutionize things. Are we really solving problems, right?
Yeah.
So I am the founder of artificial intelligence in
Mm,
Africa. Yeah, I'm excited and thrilled to do this and this. Yeah. So the question is, the local farmers in these rural areas, the guys on the field, you understand? How is this thing touching them? How can they
yeah.
benefit from it? So now let's go. Let's touch base now. As at today, AI is very wide, but one of the very, very easiest touch points for artificial intelligence is chatbots like ChatGPT, Google
Yes.
Cloud, Meta AI. So the question is, if I want to use, I am in, okay, I'm in Lagos, but let me put myself, because that is how I think whenever I'm coming up with solutions. I am somewhere in Oluku. Oluku, for people that don't know, is somewhere in Benin, somewhere in the outskirts of Benin, where there are
You
farmers,
don't
right?
look
I'm
alone
somewhere,
now.
or or I'm somewhere in Benue. Benue, for instance. Benue is the food basket of the country. So let's use Benue.
Yeah.
So Benue is like where the main agricultural activities is happening. So I'm somewhere in Makodi or somewhere in Otukpo in a very, I mean, I don't want to, local in our context is funny. Local means relative to where you are. Okay, if I'm in Lagos now,
Yeah.
I'm a local, my locality is Lagos. So I am local to Lagos. Local does not
Yeah.
mean inferior. You know, when we say something is local, we look at it with,
Yeah.
oh, it's local. But local is relative to where you are. So if I'm
True.
in Lagos, I am a Lagos local. If I'm in
Yeah.
Nigeria, I am local to Nigeria. That does not mean I am inferior. So if
Yeah.
somebody comes in from out of Lagos, that person is foreign to Lagos, right?
Lagos.
If you're coming from outside Nigeria, you are foreign to Nigeria. It doesn't mean you are superior and local is inferior. We're just talking. So you now, where you're coming from, if you're coming from the UK, you are local to the United Kingdom. Okay, let's not talk English now. Let's talk AI, right? So how will a local farmer? So I just established that local in context so that we don't see it as a inferior. So how will a local farmer access AI tools, right? At the basics, you need a smartphone, obviously. Either a
Mm-hmm.
smartphone or a smart, okay, let me call it a smart device, right? Either
Yeah.
it's a phone or it's a tablet or it's a laptop, whatever it is, you need a device that can access the internet, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you need internet because, yeah, whilst there are AI tools that can run offline, the bulk of AI tools that we have these days still run over the internet, over the World Wide Web. So you need a smart device. That's one. You need internet. That's two. Then of course you need access to these tools, and that's why some of these tools have been magnanimous enough to offer a free layer. Most AI tools that you have, most AI software, AI related tools have some level of free tier. Like ChatGPT is free to some extent, even though they have like the paid version. Matter of fact, the concept of open AI, which is a parent company of ChatGPT, was supposed to be artificial intelligence that was open in terms of open source, open research, open this and that. But of course, these things cost a lot of money. I once dabbled into trying to build my own AI, and that story for another day. But summary is that $3,000 later, we still did not have an AI that we can call our own. $3,000 gone and all of that. So, I mean, trying to evolve your own AI systems is an expensive venture. It's not cheap. You understand? I think the last time I checked, to sustain ChatGPT for a day, let me see the latest information. How much it costs? It costs to run ChatGPT for one day. It runs into hundreds of thousands of dollars, even though okay, I'm seeing around $700,000 as at I
That's a
just
lot.
googled okay, it's a lot exactly. So it takes a lot of money. So why am I saying this? Because most AI tools have a free tier that you can use at the basics. Then you have to pay at some level so that you can help sustain. They are running the business too. GPT is somebody's service, it's a business. So you understand. So
Yeah.
to answer the question, let me not digress. At the basics, you need a smart device, a smartphone, mobile internet, I mean data, internet. You need an internet connectivity. Then, of course, you need access to ChatGPT or whichever AI tool that you are using. And I'm a very
Okay.
practical person, right? The next question I would ask myself is, yeah, now you have said we need a smartphone, right? How many farmers in rural Benue or rural or Ondo State or rural Edo State have a smart device? You understand? So now that brings us to the question of accessibility. So, whilst we know that in reality, a lot of farmers might not have access to these devices, the question is, do they have farmer clusters? Do they have like farmer associations in that their
Cooperative,
local
farmers
cluster?
cooperative.
Cooperative, beautiful, cooperative. You are in the field, you know these terms, right? So, can we get at least one person in that cooperative to have a smart device? Yes, I mean, I think you understand. So we don't go beating around the bush trying to AI the AI like we are banking the unbanked. You understand? I can push a campaign now and say one farmer, one phone, one farmer, one phone. Let's get every farmer in Benue State, every farmer in Edo State, every farmer in Nasarawa. Let's get them a smart device so that they can use AI. The question is, how easy would that be for me? Do you get?
Mm,
But can I educate at least one person per cluster who can now go ahead and use that knowledge to
yeah.
affect their cluster? Do you understand? So let me bring in the context of banking the unbanked into this conversation, right? For a long time, I have a lot of
Oh,
fitness friends,
yeah.
right?
These fintech
I,
people
I,
alone.
funny enough, the bulk of my friends are in fintech because that's where the money is moving. So a lot of people are in fintech. So
Just
for a
get
long time,
alone.
our fintech guys have been trying to bank the unbanked. And what do they do to bank the unbanked? You release an app. You understand? Okay, my new app is this. You can use your iris to pay. You can use your thumb to pay. You can use your DNA to pay. Your blood group to pay. Good. The question is, how many of these unbanked have access to these apps? So if I release an iOS app today and I say I want to use it to bank the unbanked, how many of these
What
unbanked
have I
have
exposed?
I do you understand? How many of them have Apple phones that use iOS that they can download and use? So, as much as we're trying to be technological innovators and all of that, we should also touch base with our context. Okay, like I just gave an example now. Yeah, OpenAI, ChatGPT is available. Download ChatGPT or use it directly on the web and ask questions about your farm and all of that. The next question would be, yeah, to a farmer in the UK, that might be understandable. They have phones, they have access to credit to buy phones and all of that. To a farmer in Benue, to a farmer in the Nasarawa state that is in the rural areas, do they have access to these things? No. So a more practical solution is look for their clusters, look for at least one person that can operate some of these things and empower them at that level so that one person or two or three in that cluster
Interesting. Mm. So, guys, I'm not certain. I guess it's the network.
get my point.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So that's an overview of what I meant earlier. So let's proceed so that leave me here. I will continue talking for the next 3 hours. I don't. All right, with you, go ahead, please.
Fantastic. So, the concept you just explained, I think that's the
Yes, please.
concept that a lot of people use for like rural engagement, especially as regards digital inclusion, right? So they
As it
when they
should
go to
be.
like
Exactly.
rural areas, they look for a person within the community that's a bit learned. Maybe the person have a bit of education compared to like the women
Hmm.
and older people. Because even in most rural areas, it's believed that women are bulk of the farmers. So it's not like they don't have male
Of
farmers,
course.
but women farm more in most rural communities. So
Hmm.
they typically do that for like digital inclusion. Like, okay, get this person a phone. You can be able to like access for credits, things like that.
Mm.
But I
Mm.
didn't even think. See, that's why it's good for these sessions. I didn't even think of it that it can be applied to that. So
I mean,
call
exactly.
somebody on this call now, if you are running a social enterprise that has to do with that, I think that's something that you want to look into
Actually, and my organization,
as
Artificial
well.
Intelligence in
Wow, that's
Africa,
really nice.
also
But it
can you hear me very well, please? Can you hear me? I was trying to say something earlier. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
All right,
Yeah,
so I was trying to say my organization AI in Africa also partners with organizations here and there. Whilst we might not be able to go into these localities here and there, we can collaborate with you. We can provide you the necessary skill sets, toolkits that you need to go make impact wherever it is. And sometimes pro bono. You understand? So I'm just trying to
fantastic.
buttress your point. Exactly.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
In that case, we have a lot of conversations behind the camera after this session.
I mean,
We could
I'm
share.
I'm always
We
we're always open to conversations because it's a concerted effort, right? If we
Yes,
must grow the kind of Africa or the kind of Nigeria we want, it's not going to be a one person, one man show. It's not going to
yeah,
be a I am revolutionizing the revolution. It takes a village to raise a child, and they used to say it also takes a village to revolutionize things, right? Like a
yes,
literal
yes,
village. You understand? Yeah. Go
yes,
ahead, please. I'm
yes.
with you.
I was saying to, I think that was Mr. Olaruwaju. I was saying to him because he was the first person that made me understand that concept very well. Mr. Olaruwaju is like one of Africa, I don't say Africa, but one of Nigerian's foremost extension officers. He's the one person that
Beautiful,
I know that has like a very thriving, active agricultural
beautiful,
extent
beautiful.
private practice for agricultural extension in Nigeria, aside of the government. He's just one person that is very active in that space. And so he was
Beautiful,
saying to me
beautiful.
that we are at that stage, particularly in agriculture, where the problem of Africa or Nigeria has to be solved by Nigerians or Africans. Like we were talking about, at some point this year, there was a bit of halt to like aids that we could receive, whether from
Of
USAID,
course,
from
of course, of
United
course, of
So,
course.
there were so many projects that just met its untimely end because there were no longer aids.
Very well. Yeah.
So it just revealed that as it is, we are not even thinking of how we should be able to solve our problems. But from what you said, it is an actual fact that just much more than thinking about Africans will solve the problem of Africa, we need to actually start taking steps towards that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, please.
We need to. So my next question to you is, um, how can an AI powered platform or tool help? I think I already know this answer to this thing. Let me not answer that question because with IoT,
No, no,
those are people
no. Go
who might
ahead.
not
Go ahead.
understand what IoT is. IoT is like
Mm,
Internet of Things. So
mm,
there's a
mm,
way it's actually connected to like some automated systems that it helps with like
mm,
temperature,
mm,
pressure,
mm.
humidity, depending on what your facility is structured to do.
Very well.
Depends.
Yes. All
Let's
right. So
see. Let's
let me offer some more context on IoT. Right. Like I
okay.
mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, I am a more hands-on guy. I'm a more first principles guy. It's easy to throw terminologies, which we do a lot in technology, IoT, ML, AI, NLP, this one, you understand? But show workings, show, you understand? No be church or church like we say in Nigeria. Right? So, what is IoT? Like you already said, Internet of Things, right? Let's break it down.
Yeah.
Internet, one side, off, one side. Off is like this is a conjunction now. It joins
Yeah.
the two. So
Two words.
there's internet on one side, there's things on the other side. Off is just joining them together. So what are things, right? Things is things, everything. I have a spectacle here, like my grandmother will call it. I have a spectacle here. It's a thing. I
Yeah.
have a coffee, whatever here. It's a thing. I have a phone here. It's also a thing. So imagine if all of these things find a way to have internet connectivity, which we already have. I mean, there are smart glasses that can connect to
Yeah.
the internet. This can be a smart coffee, whatever that can will do whatever, download recipes from online and all that. So when we now have all of these things connected together via the internet, that's what we call Internet of Things, right? So imagine a situation where you know that as a farmer, you need to depending on the kind of what you're producing, if you're a fish farmer, for instance, you need the pH level of the water, you need the temperature of the water, if I'm correct. If
Yes.
you're a
Yes.
soil farmer, if you're a farmer that plants stuff, you need a soil pH, you need
Yeah.
humidity, you need
Yes.
so there's a lot of data that you would need to make things work effectively the way they're supposed to work. And this
Yeah.
data can be captured. Usually, we do it the manual way. So, if you want to get the pH of your water, you probably take a litmus or whatever it is you use, go there and take it, right?
Test.
And
Yeah.
these are things that you need. I mean, in real time, most of the time, you need it periodically. It's not something you take
Yeah.
now, go and sleep, then come back tomorrow. So, what if we have a situation where these things we have sensors that can measure some of these things, right? So what if we have
Yeah.
sensors, right, that are smart, that have internet connection, such that there is a pH meter that is inside your swimming, your I won't say swimming pool, sorry, inside your fish pond, right? There's a
Yeah.
pH measurement tool that's inside your fish pond that is connected to the internet, such that from your phone or from a dashboard somewhere, you can
Yeah.
easily get the measurements at different intervals of the pH of your fish pond. You can get the
Mm-hmm.
pH of the humidity on your soil. So all of these things connected together is what we call Internet of Things, and we can use it in agriculture to make life easier for everybody, to make yields. I mean, things go better. You understand? Still boils
Mm-hmm.
down to the same question: do we have the necessary infrastructure? How many local rural farmers? Local now is not that they are inferior. Local is relative to their location, right? How many
Yeah.
local rural farmers can afford some of these things? So as much as we're throwing the grammar, Internet of Things, Internet of this and that, how do we apply it to our context? Do you understand? So all of those
Yeah.
questions are things that we need to still provide answers to. Is we know what Internet of Things can do. The question is, do we have the resources to deploy these things to get these things to work? Is the internet working? Do we have the things for we to achieve the Internet of Things?
So, so I'll say this to you that majority of farmers don't have access to it. However,
Good.
some of the mechanized farms have sort of
Yes.
similar
Yes.
things. Some of the mechanized
Very
farms
well. Yeah. Very well. Yeah. Very
within
well.
within Nigeria, I don't have that data, but outside of Nigeria, I
Mm.
do have that data by virtue of
Of
some of
course.
the experts I've also spoken to.
Mm,
There's
mm,
this lady. There's this lady I spoke to from Kenya. She has like her She has an entire value chain within potato, like Irish potato.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful,
Yes, in Kenya. I had spoken to. She was one of the guests in the podcast.
beautiful.
So she
And
actually was the person that helped me understand that. Oh, within her farm, she uses IoT.
exactly.
Because they also do
And
like regenerative, which
and I
is
mean,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, they can renew things here and there. Yeah.
yeah. So with that, they're able to like check the temperature, the humidity. Because potato, if you put potato in your house, you just like if you put it in let's say
It
like
starts
in your kitchen,
sprouting.
it starts.
Mm,
It's because of humidity. It has a certain temperature it has to be in that it does that does
very
not
well,
happen. It's because
very
of
well.
humidity. So she
Very
was
well.
just explaining that. So that gave me the context to know that okay, there's so many parts within Africa that they already have access to that.
Very well,
Even
yeah.
with this IoT, like when I spoke to a guy from South Africa. I don't remember. He has this very interesting name. These people, other parts of Africa, they're very interesting. And also when I spoke to Olivia Jahel, the CEO of Hello Tractor, one of their
Yeah,
major technologies that they use for their tractors is the IoT. It's like the sensor. So you could be in
very
your
well,
room
because a
right now
lot of
and you're
sensors
checking
here
out
and
what
there.
your tractor is doing somewhere else. You know the mileage,
Absolutely,
you know
absolutely,
what's
absolutely,
happening.
absolutely.
So, but in
Because
Nigeria, I don't
mm,
so much data if we're
mm.
actively using it. But I want to believe that most of the automated farms, these big farms,
Mm.
should definitely have it because if you don't, your production processes would be crazy if you don't have it.
Of
It
course,
would
of
be crazy.
course. So it calls for a concerted effort again. You understand? As a
Yeah.
capitalist, I can afford to set up a farm, and given my background and deploy all the technological whatever it is I need. But my farm would not necessarily now be a a good model in quote, because if you come to my farm and see all these things at work, you might be tempted to think this is how all farms in Nigeria are working, right? But that's not the real representation. You understand? So our goal should be at the
Yeah,
global in this
true.
context. I mean, at our global level within Nigeria, not the globe now. I mean, at the
Africa.
global level in Nigeria, or at the national level, let me use our language, at the national level within Nigeria, we should find a way to
So,
not just have just a little few cases that are using these things the way they're supposed to be used. You understand? So I think we will
mm,
grow and get to that point, but it's more of a public-private partnership to get some of these things done. Like Hello Tractor, I don't know, you have spoken with the CEO. I mean, I've
yeah,
done
I
extensive
did.
research on some of the things they are doing and all of that.
Episode, that was like
Because it's
episode
it's
40. Yeah,
very, very, very well, very well. Makes sense. Makes sense. That's
yeah.
that's great.
They do phenomenal work. It's just phenomenal work. Trust
Actually,
me.
very,
Uh,
very, very well.
so my next question to you now is for innovators, developers. This question I'm about to ask you, Dr. Shehu, leave the bank on bank people alone.
No, 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 no. We're not talking fintech here. But there is no way. You know the reason why
Oh
fintech
God.
always. The reason why fintech always comes into the conversation is because fintech
Okay.
are some of the in terms of technology, digital technology now. Fintech is one of the areas that have gone ubiquitous. So if you want to point out examples of things that have been done on a mass scale, it's easier to
Yeah.
point at a money point, a paystack, an OPay, for instance. So
Yeah.
you can use them as an example. They are like, fintech involves a lot, it involves money. Money is moving
Yeah.
here and there. So investors are more likely to invest in a fintech venture than an agricultural tech venture, even though, yeah, you might claim we are producing food and all of that, but as an investor, I want to see my money. I want to see how my money would go, cycle back and come back to me in good measures, pressed down, shaking together, and running over. You understand? All right, so
Fantastic.
go ahead with the question. Go ahead with the question.
My question now is for innovators and developers
Mm,
building agri-tech solutions, what
mm,
would
mm,
you say are some of like the key steps in ensuring that
mm,
an AI-powered product truly meets the
mm.
need of the farmer? Truly
Mhm.
meets the need of the farmer. So what would you say are
I,
like some of
I,
the steps to do that?
Actually, I would say you have answered the question, but let me now buttress on your point. The emphasis is that truly meets the need of the farmer that you have said. So now let me break it down. I work out of Lagos. I used to have an office in Lekki, but I work from home most of these days because I mean, but I cycle around Lekki in Lagos. Say I want to build an AI solution for a farmer in Edo State or in Benue State. Imagine if I just sit in in my Lagos office or my home office, and I come up with a very fantastic solution for that farmer in Benue State. Do you think it will truly meet the need of that farmer, no matter how smart I am? Do you get why?
Mm.
Because I did not necessarily consult with the farmer in terms of it can be an interview, but beyond interviews, right? I'm a product manager also in rest. I mean, I do a lot of things, right? Like a lot of things, but you understand in product management, there's something we call design thinking, not just product management. I think design thinking cuts across
Yes.
a lot of fields, right? And one of the first layers of design thinking is empathy, empathize, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if I must design something for you, if I must solve your problem, the first layer should not even be whatever technology I want to deploy. The first layer should be empathy. Can
Yeah.
I empathize with you? Do I know your
Mm.
pain points? Do I know your challenges? Do you get?
Yeah.
So imagine I have built some AI system that requires internet, requires electricity, and then I discover that in your village where you are, where you are running your farm, you don't even have light. Do you understand?
Mm.
You have internet. So if I had actually come to that your village, either physically or virtually or whatever way, if I had come to your village to look at things, I would have known that, oh, they don't have light. Oh, do you get?
Yeah.
They don't have internet. Oh, that would inform the kind of solutions I will bring. Let me use a very
Mm.
funny example. I hope they don't watch this, right? It's one of my friends. They had built a solution for schools in Katsina State. And then the solution involved a tablet, right? A e-learning. I work in the ed tech sector, right? So a learning tablet, whatever, whatever. And then they went to the school for the first time after building the solution. You want to give these kids tablets to learn. Then you get to their school and discover they don't even have benches to sit down. So they will take your tab and sit on the floor to use your solution. So if you had consulted and looked at their gone there to see things, you would have known that the first thing they need here is a bench, not a tablet. Do
Mm.
you understand? So the summary of what I'm trying to say in essence is that if I must build a solution for farmers or for agriculture, I must talk to the farmers first. Do you understand?
Yes.
Talk to them, understand their pain points. If you can, go to where they are. There's something we call user mirroring. User mirroring is I go to where you are,
Yeah.
I sit down with you on a
Mm-hmm.
day-to-day basis. I understand your pain points. I understand how you I mirror you technically. Do you get? I
Yeah.
mirror you to say, okay, they wake up in the morning, maybe where they are sleeping is 10 kilometers away, so they have to trek to the farm or use motorcycles or whatever it is. I move with you. I know that okay, it takes about 1 hour plus to get from your house to the farm. I look at okay,
Yeah.
is there a stream on the road? Is there so by the time I have mirrored a user, I would have understood their context, their pain points, their like
Yeah.
Henry Ford said. Yeah, Henry Ford said something about okay, if I asked users what they wanted, they would have asked for faster horses. Why? Because at the
Yeah.
time he was trying to manufacture a car, what they were using there was the carts, the horse carts. You know, you had a cart system where you attached your carts to the horses and all of that. So the question is, yeah, beyond just asking the user, because like Steve Jobs also buttressed the point, like users sometimes don't know what they want. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So beyond asking them, because if I ask a rural farmer now, okay, what do you want? Okay, maybe a motorbike for me to get to farm easily, right? They will not think, okay, maybe we can have a railway somewhere there. You understand? That will not just transport us, that would also transport our produce. You get? So if I go there with my technological advancement, then I can see, okay, these are the problems they have. I can talk to them, get their own inputs. Then, because I have more technological intelligence than them. I can know that, okay, yeah, what you need is transportation. Yeah, it's not necessarily a motorcycle. You're only thinking motorcycle because of your context, because of where you are. Okay, what if I can build a train that will not just transport you, that will also transport you and your goods and you understand, your your farm machinery, your whatever. What if I can have a tractor-like train where somebody is driving, but there's a lot of coaches at the back that can take your entire village to the farm at once, instead of giving you just one motorcycle for you to carry you and your wife and your children. You understand? So first things first, talk to these users, go where they are, mirror them, understand their pain points. In one word, empathize. That's the word.
Yeah.
So in one word, empathize with them, understand their pain point, understand their context, understand where they are coming from, understand the unique challenges to them. Then that would help you in coming up with whatever solution that you think is going to work. And again, after you build your solution, the next layer of design thinking is to define, right? I think it's empathize. Let me pull it up if I can see it here. Design thinking. Don't mind me. I am a more hands-on person. Matter of fact, I think I once told you I don't like podcasts, right? You know why I don't like I don't like podcasts, right? Podcast is all talk and no workings. A lot of people just come on podcast and talk. You understand?
Yeah.
Can you still hear me very well?
Yes, I can.
Beautiful. So I'm trying to I'm trying to pull up an image. Just give me a moment that explains the design thinking process. But I might not just, I don't want to waste your time. Let me just go ahead. So there's empathize. There is the defining stage, right? But I think I need to put it up so that it would add a lot of context to this
Okay.
conversation.
You want to share
Right.
this? You want to share the screen?
Yeah, I'm going to share in a moment. Just a moment.
Okay.
It's coming up in a moment.
Fantastic. So, guys,
Yeah.
I hope you're getting so much value from Dr. Sheon's conversation and interaction today. If you're yet to subscribe to the channel, please do like and subscribe. It's okay. We're here.
Beautiful. You can see it's a cycle, and
Yeah.
it's an you see that cycle actually forms an infinity, aka it's a never-ending cycle. You go, you come, you
Mm.
go, you come. So first layer is you empathize. If you look at the blue arrow, you see where it's pointing. The blue portion of that's the empathize stage, which I've talked about. The next phase is to define. So
Yeah.
after you have empathized, you have gone there, okay, you have seen their pain points, you have talked to them, you have gathered insights and all of that. Next thing is, what exactly is the problem? In the Henry Ford example I
Mm.
gave, if you ask you people, what do they need? Oh, give me a faster horse. I need a horse that can run faster than other horses, right? But the question is that what they
Mhm.
need? No, they need a means of transportation, an effective and
Yeah.
efficient means of transportation. That was why I came up with the Ford, the cars. Ford was one of the first people that manufactured cars, right? And the famous
Yeah.
don't reinvent the wheel also is attributed to him, because when he was manufacturing his cars, and I asked him, oh, how do we do the tires? It was like, the current cart system has a wheel, right? So don't
Mhm.
reinvent that wheel. Use the same cart wheel that we have been using. You understand? For starters, right? All we need is something that can move. The cart has a wheel that's already moving. There's no point reinventing that wheel. I know a lot of people are used to shopping carts. I'm not talking about if I ask Gen Z what a cart is, they'll think it's a shopping, like, add to cart, like on Jumia or on Temu. You understand? Let me see if I can pull up an image of what a cart is. Okay, like this is what a cart looks like back in the days. You can see they inked it to a horse, and that was like how they transported. So if you had asked the man on that cart, oh, what do you need? He would have told you, oh, this horse is a little slow. Can you give me something faster, like a faster horse? You understand? So instead of a faster horse, that was, yeah, he had a problem, obviously. He needed to get where he was going faster. So when you empathize with him and know, okay, this man has a problem. Oh, if you ask him, I said, give me a faster horse. But you now know that, oh, the problem, you define it. The problem is, oh, he needs a way to get to where he's going faster. Right now, you can come up with ideas. Okay, true. Can we give him a faster horse? Yeah, it's one of the options, right? Oh, but can we invent something different? Maybe something mechanical that doesn't rely on an animal. You understand? That can go anytime, any day, anywhere you want, as long as you have
Mhm.
fuel, right? So that's the
Yeah.
ideation process. So empathize with them, understand their problem, define the actual problem. What is the problem? So for a farmer that
Mm.
is in rural Benue, for instance, his problem might be that his tomatoes gets rotten on time. You understand? So it
Mm-hmm.
tells you, I need a bigger barn so to keep some of these things, or I need. But what you know that the problem is facing is the fact that it needs a way to. What's that your word again now? What does Echo Tutu do again? You know Echo Tutu, right? Echo Tutu is an
Yes.
agriculture.
It's like they provide like storage, cold storage
Storage,
for
beautiful storage. That's the
storage.
word I'm looking for. So what you need is storage, like a way to store those produce so that they don't get spoiled. You understand? So you
Yeah.
define this problem, then you start coming up with ideas. So Eco2's idea was, what if we have a cold room storage where we can keep some of these things? Another person might think about it. What if we take that tomato and dry it up into? I think there's an dehydrator, an hydrator. Put an
Yes,
hydrator, dry it up. So a lot of ideas can come. Then you can now test those ideas. When you have ideas, you test them and see which of our prototype first before testing. You'll come up with prototypes of those your ideas, test them, and if they work, fine. Go back to the loop. Okay, now, Baba, you said the problem was tomato was getting spoiled. Now I have this small fridge, solar powered refrigerating storage. Let's test it
mm-hmm.
with you. Does it work? I mean, if you put your tomatoes, how long do they last? Do they get spoiled like they used to get spoiled before? Are they getting better? Are things getting better? Okay, yeah, it's actually better, but when there's no sun, they don't work. Okay, now that there's no sun, can we now put a battery somewhere there so that, okay, when there is sun, it charges the battery. When there's no sun, the battery takes over. So you get the logic. So it's a constant, never-ending cycle of empathizing with the people, understanding their problems, defining the actual problem. Sometimes we treat symptoms, you understand? So define the root cause of the problem, ideate prototypes and all of that, build up the prototype, then test and see if the prototype actually works. If it doesn't work, ideate again and come up with something better. I believe that has answered your question to some extent. I don't want to spend plenty of time on one question. Have I answered your
That's
question?
You have over delivered. I was just typing here like, Dr. Sheon came here to lecture. He actually came to tell us that
I,
he
I,
came here to
I don't
lecture
identify.
on
I don't identify as a lecturer actually. Maybe because of the plenty of bad PR lecturers have in
this.
Nigeria. So
And
I don't.
you came here
I
to
don't
lecture
identify.
today. Well, it's a good one. It's different from what we
Good,
usually
good.
have. So I'm happy we
Yeah,
have that today. So two more
beautiful,
questions
beautiful.
before we wrap out
Not, not,
today's
not,
session.
not a problem. I'm with you. Go ahead.
Fantastic. So, what are some of like the affordable or open source AI tools that you would say are available today that African
Mm.
agriculturists or entrepreneurs can start using immediately? Like, what are some of the available
Well,
tools? Where can they be
I
found?
think, I think, I think those tools. I think it's pretty straightforward, right? Straight out of the box. Let's talk. We'll talk chatbots, right? Chatbots are everywhere these days. ChatGPT
Mm-hmm.
was the first mover in that direction. So when you talk about chatbots, the AI chatbots, the first thing that comes
Mm-hmm.
to mind is ChatGPT. But over the
Yeah.
years, a lot of other companies have come up with their own variants of chatbots here and there. So there's ChatGPT from OpenAI. There's Meta AI, which I think also ships with WhatsApp these days. So if you have a WhatsApp or a Facebook account, out of the box, you already have like Meta AI somewhere there. There's Gemini that comes with Google. So Google has Gemini. What's it called? Anthropic has Cloud. So a lot of them are out there these days, and so those are things that you can leverage on. So chatbots, ChatGPT, those are general level, and there are agri specific AI tools too. That I know of Plant Village Neuro. I don't know if you have stumbled on Plant Village Neuro before. Plant Village
Yeah.
Neuro attempts to help with diagnosis of like you have a plant and all of that, and you can take a picture and let me see. Thankfully, you have allowed me to share my screen. Why I don't like podcasts personally is because most times it's more of talk than action. I don't like talk. I like I'm trying to present. I think it needs your approval or something.
Okay. Okay.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. Okay, so this is
Yeah.
Plant Village, Plant Village Inoru. So this is specific to agriculture. Even though you can use the other LLMs, you understand the other LLMs for
Oh, sorry, I
agricultural
can't see your
context.
screen.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me reshare again then. Let me
Okay.
reshare it again.
Okay.
So while I'm sharing, let me answer the question. So the popular guys are there. ChatGPT from OpenAI. I'm trying to share again. I think it needs your. Can you see it now? Aha. So the popular guys
Okay.
are there. ChatGPT from OpenAI, Meta AI from Meta, available on WhatsApp, available on Facebook, available on all Meta platforms. It actually has his own direct URL. I think it's Meta.ai also. Yeah, Meta.ai. So there's Google Gemini that shipped to them, Google and all of that. So away from you can use those tools for your agri specific context, right? But there are also startups that are coming up with their own variants of agro allied, let me put it that way, agro allied AI tools like Plant Village
Yeah.
that I just shared now tries to help you diagnose diseases with photos. So your maize is showing a particular
So
discoloration
you could
on the
know if
leaf.
it's a blight, or you could know if it's the bacteria, or
Exactly. So you can snap the picture, upload it to Plant Village, and it checks it out and tells you this is what is happening there. Then I think there's Tangerine AI for AI related stuff, and also on ChatGPT. A lot of people don't know this, so this might be an opportunity to also showcase it. Let me show my ChatGPT. GPT actually means
also
generative
you need
pre-trained.
to also you need to because just I couldn't see your screen. I'm not certain if you are clicking on the exact tab that has it,
Yeah, I'm
but
actually I'm actually doing that.
I
It's
can't
trying to
see
it's
it.
trying to get your permission now. Can you see anything on that is trying to pop up? Yeah, I am.
I'm not. So, our audience, if you can actually see the screen is sharing, please let me know on the comment section so that I'm able to. But
Yeah,
personally, I
please,
can't see it.
very important.
But I
I,
can't
I
see
I can actually see it from here. I don't know if you can get feedback from the audience if they can see it.
audience. Please help us confirm if you're able to. Anyway, just keep
But
going, and
even
I
if
guess I'll get.
but even if they can't see it, I can always explain. And so what I was trying to
Okay.
explain is that okay, some can see it, right?
Yeah.
So what I was trying to explain is that
Yes.
GPT,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
the GPT in front of ChatGPT means generative pre-trained transformer. Forget about the grammar. What it means is that it's a pre-trained model, a transformer model that can
Mm.
generate information. So that's the idea of generative pre-trained transformer. So you can have several GPTs in different areas, in different contexts. For instance, now
Mm.
it's unfortunately you can't see my screen, but if we go to ChatGPT, on your left-hand side, you will see a menu tab for GPTs. So there are
Mm-hmm.
several other GPTs away from ChatGPT that are
True.
specifically for certain for different contexts. Can you see my
Yeah.
screen now? Confirm if you can see my screen. Can you see the screen I'm sharing? Because I would
I
have loved
can't
for
see
you
it.
to actually see.
But I can't see it, but the
Uh,
audience can see it. I can't see it though, but it's visible.
Beautiful. So on ChatGPT now, you can actually open other GPTs and you can
Mm-hmm.
search for Greek related GPTs, right? So away from what's it called? Away from ChatGPT itself, there are other
Mm-hmm.
GPTs that are specifically for agriculture. You understand that you can actually relate with. So it's still similar to ChatGPT and LLMs and all of that and generative models, but they are now contextual. It's now like in the direction of agriculture. Like I have one on my screen now called Agriculture Mentor. You know what? Let me send you a URL that you can open up on your own system, Osarugue, and see if you can share your screen from your end of the table so
Okay.
that we are on the same page. I just sent you a URL via WhatsApp now that you can maybe put up on
So
your own end of the table.
drop the URL on the chat here, on your
Okay, that,
chat
that, that
here.
works perfectly.
So
That,
I'll
that works
just
perfectly for me. I've done that already.
okay. So nice.
Mm. Because so away from ChatGPT is like the first mover, the guy that make the market and that got the market first. But there are other people now selling in the market to
Oh,
here and there. So off on top of chat, can you see the URL I sent to you?
Yeah, I've opened this. I'm coming. I just
Or if you can't see the URL, just open your own chat GPT normally and share your screen. I can direct you to where you go to see it.
so can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. Yeah, I can
Mm.
see your screen. Beautiful. You can see the agriculture mentor, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So on the right, on the is it left or right now, where you have where you have new chart, right? There's a GPTs on that menu. GPT, go down a little, you see GPT under Sora. That's the place you are. Yeah, I can see where you are. You can see GPTs under Sora. GPTs.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Click on GPTs. Beautiful. Yeah. So those are other generative pre-trained transformers that are for different niches here and there. So under that now, you can
Mm.
actually search for a Greek under that search GPT, search for other things in under agriculture that you can just hit enter and see. So you see other GPTs that have been built specifically
Oh
for, you
wow.
can see there's
Agricultural advancement.
agriculture, farming, climate. So there's a lot of this is in addition
Wow.
to other startups here and there that are building stuff specific to artificial intelligence, right? So
Mm.
let me also point something out here. There's a difference between an AI solution or AI system and an AI powered or AI driven system. You understand? So, for
Yeah.
instance, now I might be offering an e commerce service, and on that e commerce service, I have a chatbot that you can chat with that is not human, right? Don't forget
Yeah.
our initial definition of artificial intelligence. Anything that tries to simulate human level intelligence that's not human is artificial intelligence. You understand? Whether
Yeah.
ChatGPT or robots or neural networks and all of that. So if I have an e-commerce service, my main service is e-commerce. I want to sell stuff, right? That's Temu. You understand? And everybody knows Temu. Temu has pursued all of us over the internet. So Temu has a chatbot. So Temu has that AI, that chatbot is powered by AI. But Temu itself is not an AI startup. It's not an AI solution. So it's an AI driven or AI powered solution. You get, yeah. But you
Mm.
cannot have an AI solution that is, I mean, you have your data models, you have your algorithms, you have whatever it is, and it's providing a service. So it's an AI level product. I'm just keeping this in as Jara now. You understand? So we know the difference, right? ChatGPT now is purely sitting on an AI system. It's sitting on an AI model, providing you services, right? But you can have like an AI. So in Agric, for instance, I can have a farm that's or anything agriculture that is AI driven. You understand? Puts in some elements of artificial intelligence here and there and use it to make life better for people. You understand? I think I shared
Yeah.
this with you once. In 2015, so that you know how friendly I've been with agriculture. Yeah, I wrote a thesis on agricultural extension in Nigeria.
Yes.
Let me share my screen if I can pull that up. So at that time, I discovered that the agricultural extension system, especially the public system in Nigeria, I was happy to see that you have somebody who is doing it at a private level now. So this was my thesis as of 2015. It was supposed to be my master's thesis. You understand?
Yeah.
So what I tried to conceptualize, you can see what I tried to conceptualize. This was not even that was artificial intelligence. Like I mentioned, AI has been around since 1950 something. Right? So the mainstream chat GPTs have not come to mainstream as at this time. But I was still trying to come up with some knowledge base for farmers. You can see that I also put into question or I put into context the fact that the farmer might not necessarily have a smart device, right? You can see that, okay,
Yeah.
I went to the list device. Okay, at all, you have a Nokia touchlight, like we call it, right? That's all you have.
Mm-hmm.
But can we reach you? You understand? Okay, you have rice
Yeah.
to sell, or you are a rice farmer. SMS, you don't have internet, good. SMS rice to 3321, whatever, the short codes, the usual short codes. When you SMS
Yeah.
rice to there, it comes back and say, okay, what do you want to do? Maybe you look, and how AI can now come in at this level now to now help us localize it. Why we have a central knowledge base that might be in English. Somebody in the north can send in Hausa, and AI comes in at that layer to try to translate what you have said contextually, NLP wise. And I know I'm carrying you to where you know that's help me. They carry me go where I don't know.
Hello.
Don't worry, don't worry. You're still, can you hear me properly? Yes, Arugo. Don't mind me. I'm just kidding. But you get the concept, right? You get what I'm saying.
Yes, we can
So this
hear
is
you.
uh-huh. So this was a system I
Yeah.
had conceptualized as at 2015. You can see there's a farmer on one end of the table. There's a milk buyer. Let's assume the person is a dairy farmer. You understand? There's a milk buyer on one other hand. There's a veterinary doctor on another hand. All they have in common is mobile internet or mobile connection. There's not even data. So this was like something I had conceptualized. So what am I trying to say in essence is that a lot of effort still needs to come into play to
Mm-hmm.
democratize some of these things here and there. Beyond
Yeah.
using like if you notice my conversation over the course of our conversations is that I am not a as much as we're not doing a us versus them thing. I am not a let's use chat GPT to solve our problems kind of person. I'm not a let America give us let UNICEF help us, let FAO help us, let USAID, let UNESCO give us money. Let's think, yeah, where are we at the moment? We are at the point where we are still relying on stuff, right?
Yeah.
Fertilizers are still being subsidized. If you go down the value chain, you will discover that some of the inputs we still use are still being imported, subsidized by United Nations, this and that, FAO, and all of that. Let's get my vision is to get to a point where we can solve our problems, maybe not all of them by ourselves, but to a large extent, so that even if we need help, right, we can come and say, oh, we have this problem, oh, but see what we have done at our level. Oh, yeah, UNESCO, where can you come in? Let us meet you. You understand? Not like, oh, we have this problem. Oh, if UNESCO does not help us, we don't know where we are going. You understand what I
Mm.
mean, right? So that's
Yeah.
the idea. Or I think in your context, FAO is the top level food and agricultural organization is like the top level
Yeah. Like
organization
all
that
the while. Yeah.
so we shouldn't be always we shouldn't beg bowl our way to things, right? Hey, FAO, farmers in Benue, they don't have this, so can you give us farmers in this and this? You understand? Let's say, okay, FAO, this is our problem. This is what we have done. How can you guys help us to scale this? You understand? Get better and all of that. Partnerships here and there, and of course the private sector too. Fintech is getting a lot of traction because they can see the money. You understand? Let me give you an overview of our fintech. I believe you know, right? Today, if I send you 10,000 naira to your OP, yeah, regulatory and all of that, you get an alert of 10,000 naira, but you see 9,950, right? Somewhere down the line, if you want to pay something on Paystack, you will see that your price is 5K, but when you're paying 5,200. So Paystack can do a, a business model and say, our business uh, forecast and say, oh, if we get this kind of transactions, 1,000 of them, this is how much we are going to make. So, investor, if you give us this money, we'll make this money, you get this and this. Straightforward. You can drop money at that level to invest. But as an agri person, can Osarugue come to me today and say, if I plant 10 tubers or 10 suckers of plantain in Isio, yeah, how much can we make in 2 years or 3 years? You understand? And will be convincing enough for me as an investor to drop money to say, okay, yeah, Osarugwe, let me cut you a check to go do what you have to do. You understand? So all of those things need to be in play because we need to make agree. Whether we like it or not, we need a lot of funding. Fintech is where it is today because of influx of funding. Every two market days, you will see that Osarugue Pay has raised $10 million. Azape has raised this $1 million, this pay, that pay. That's why everybody and their cousins have one pay or the other. You understand? This pay, that pay, you get. So let's get to a point in agriculture where we are, what's that word again? We are business, we are viable. You understand? There's a word I'm looking for.
Like so,
Bankable, something like that.
what
Go
what
ahead,
you're
go ahead,
saying
please.
is what you're saying is way beyond just the cultivation of land and the rearing of animals
Mm,
for agriculture. We
beautiful.
have to be thinking
Mm.
about the business side of it, which is like the agro business. How do we
Exactly.
How
Mm-hmm.
do we see it as a venture, as an enterprise, and how do we
Be-
leverage on that? Whether it's
but
through our skill
beautiful,
set, our
beautiful,
expertise, our
beautiful,
technical
beautiful.
skills, we need to be able to apply those things.
And as a byproduct of that, right, the agriculture industry will become more lucrative, will become more attractive. You understand? A young person can wake up today and say, I am a farmer with their full chest because they are not local. We are harvest. That's why I took my time to establish the
In the
context of
context,
local. So if I say
yes,
I am local to Lagos, does not mean I am inferior or I am, you understand? I'm local to Lagos because this is my locality. You understand? So they are not local, they're not inferior. I have a friend in South Africa, and he told me that if you see somebody driving a Ferrari in South Africa, right? If you trace it properly, there's a farm somewhere. Yeah, there's a link to a farm. That's how lucrative agriculture can be. Do you understand? So if I see a Ferrari today on the streets of Lekki, what comes to mind is
tech
musician, right?
bro, tech
Footballer,
bro.
yeah. How many tech bros are even driving a Ferrari? Okay, let me speak for myself. I don't have a Ferrari yet. Well, of course, tech bro, yeah. So tech bro, fintech bro. Okay, maybe more contextually. I know Ezra of Paystack as a Tesla. You understand? So fintech bro, you get. So let's get to the point where if you say you are a farmer, I don't see you as local. I don't see you
Mm.
as poor. You understand? You get. It should be something that a young person should be attractive enough that a young person will be able to say, I am a farmer. You understand? You get. So let's see it's not beyond the planting of that's the regular agricultural definition from secondary school now. Cultivating of land,
That's what-
rearing of
yeah,
animals. But of course, there's a
conservation of
business part of it too. You understand? I mean, feeding the populace, getting paid for feeding the populace. I mean, exporting stuff, making effects of your produce. A lot of things can come into play here and there. It's a long value chain. You understand? So let's get to that point also. All right, Osarugue, I'm with you. Sorry, I'm digressing here and there. It's
final question. And Dr. Gumola, this final question, you have to answer it in less than 3 minutes. Final question.
not a problem. Not a problem. I'm actually used to
Oh,
answering questions in in their time. Go ahead.
so, so looking ahead, what would you say? I know
Hmm.
you've talked about this a bit, but just more like a recap. What would you say is your future vision for how AI will sort of reshape agriculture in Africa, say the next 5 to 10 years? And how should our young African youths start preparing for that future?
Beautiful. So I see a future where artificial intelligence has become ubiquitous, right? It's
Yeah,
available everywhere, right?
every yeah.
Every major any farmer can access AI tools here and there to be able to make things easier for them, right? That's level one. So that would help farmers know when to plant, know when to irrigate, know when to harvest, right? Reduce waste using prediction tools. You understand? Access credits because there's enough data. Do you
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of problem we have in these days is because there's no data, you're not credit worthy. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
that's level one. Then level two is that African youths now should be able to become AI native, which is what my organization AI in Africa is trying to do. Democratize the knowledge of AI so that everybody, you don't have to be an expert, you have to be like a machine learning expert or whatever. Be able to use AI to solve your problems. Like if you have a problem on your farm, with a few prompts here and there, questions. By the way, prompt is how you talk to AI. Forget about the esoteric nuances here and there. Be able to prompt GPT, talk to GPT and say, oh, see what I am having, or see my plant is like this. So I'm be able to come up with solutions easily. You understand? Even before the arrival of an expert, you understand? Be able to research, plan, and market your stuff. So beyond just planting, AI can come in handy for your sales and marketing. AI can come in handy for you want to prepare a business plan. You want to prepare an expansion plan. You saw the example I gave in the practical example I did in the beginning of the conversation. Where okay, I have a 1,000 hectare. Take away all the elementary level of agronomics. Like I've removed I've cleared the farm and all of that. I have 1 hectare of farmland. I want to plant maize. how many, what's the estimates that I need. So all of those things will come into play. So summary in one sentence is, I foresee a future where AI has become ubiquitous, generally accepted. It meets us at our point of needs with our own language. We have tools here and there. Yeah, we will use ChatGPT and the likes, but also have contextual, Africa specific, Africa directed tools that we can use to solve our own problem where we are. You understand? And of course, create local solutions that solve local problems for agriculture. So I see a future where we are partnering with AI, right? Why I love this conversation is because agriculture is usually the least place you want to think about when you're talking about AI in the industry, right? You want to talk about AI for fraud detection, AI for education, AI for this. Some people even ask you, what can AI do on the farm? A lot of things can be done with AI on the farm. So I foresee a future where artificial intelligence and agriculture are working hand in hand to make life better for everybody. Would have more food to eat, farmers will become more prosperous, everybody will become better for it because artificial intelligence is now working hand in hand with agriculture. So the future is an AI driven agricultural future, something of that nature. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Ogunmola. And even
My
though I tell
pleasure.
him
My
that,
pleasure.
even though I tell him that, he has a calling to lecture and teach, he doesn't accept that from
Actually,
me.
actually, I don't know if I've told I don't know if I've
Dr.
told you this
Ogunmola,
before, right?
let me
But
finish. Let me finish. Dr. Ogunmola, you see that even when you were not trying to reveal yourself, inherently, it came out. You were just you kept sharing
okay,
stories.
so
That the first guest I'm having on the program after 41 episodes. They're the first guest that is sharing
Mhm.
screen and lecturing as though they are in on a podcast. So Dr. Gumalo, you must
Actually,
rethink what you're saying about this premise. You need to rethink it.
actually,
But anyway,
I'm the son of two. I'm the son of two teachers. That's what I wanted to tell you. My
okay,
dad
fantastic.
was a teacher. My mom was a teacher. So my dad taught in secondary school. My mom taught in primary school. So for a change, right? Let me not be the teacher in the family this time around.
However, guys, even though he's not carrying marker on and writing on whiteboard, Dr. Gumala, he still educates.
Thank you.
So he doesn't just want to do it
Mhm.
in the very
Maybe
conventional way that we're
something of
used to,
that
but he's
something
also like
something of
an
that nature.
educator at his
So
core.
very well. Yeah, I think I agree with that perfectly. So I don't
So
identify as a
Dr.
teacher
Gumala,
or a
I've said
lecturer.
all that to say you are
Go
just an
ahead.
educator. Fine. So I've used the
Alex.
right language for you. Educator.
Yeah, exactly. So we have
Fantastic.
a truth, right?
Anyway,
We have a truth. So we have a truth. Educator, you don't catch me. Oh, yeah.
fantastic. Finally. Guys, that's the power of languaging. You see, every other language I
Actually.
used to be shaking. Now we have met somewhere and everybody's happy. Anyway, Dr.
That
Momola, thank you
works.
so much for
Thank you
coming on
very
the
much,
podcast.
Osarugue.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for having me
spending this
too.
time with us today,
Thank you
despite
very
it's your
much.
resting day. But thank you for coming,
Yeah, sure.
sharing with us. I've learned a lot. First off, I learned that ChatGPT hears Bini. I did not know that part. So, guys, you know that now. Secondly, I learned that there are specific models for specific things, even within ChatGPT, so which is also very good.
hmm
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
My
And
pleasure.
with regards to what you mentioned that your organization does, and like I said, beyond the camera, we have too many things to talk about. But thank you once again for coming and spending this time with us and enlightening us, educating us on
My
the
pleasure.
subject as subject matter specialist. So, guys, thank you for staying with us from the beginning of the session till this time. If you're yet to subscribe, please do subscribe, like, share, so that this content is able to reach as many people that it can reach and also help more people learn about things like this. You know why? Because every session, honestly, I see it as a masterclass. Even though I am the person sitting on this seat, I learn a lot from this session, and I want to believe that you, the viewers, you're learning a lot from the session as well. So we don't have to keep this knowledge to ourselves. We have to be able to share and spread the word. So please do share, like, and subscribe to the channel so that we grow and expand more. All the same, Dr. Ogunmola, thank you for being
Thank
here
you
with
very
us.
much, Osarugue, for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you very, very much. It's a privilege to be here.